Hello and welcome to How to Play French Tarot, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. This video will cover how to play the card game French Tarot. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, then get into more of the details for the game. To play, you will need a 78 card French Tarot deck. The French Tarot deck contains 5 suits of cards. The trump suit ranks from 1 up to 21 and includes a card known as the Fool. The other 4 suits are hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. These rank with the King being the highest, which is marked with an R, then the Queen marked with a D, a Knight marked with a C, and the Jack marked with the V, then 10 down to the 1. Each player is dealt 18 cards, 3 cards at a time. 6 cards are also dealt to the middle while dealing the player's hands. Here, 1 card is being dealt to the middle before the dealer's cards. The object of the game is to score points. Points are scored by a successful bid winner based on the cards won in tricks throughout the round. The Fool, 1 trump, and 21 trump are known as honor cards and are worth 4.5 points each. The Kings are also worth 4.5 points. Queens are 3.5 points, Knights are 2.5 points, Jacks are 1.5 points. All other cards are worth 0.5 point. A player's score can increase by bonuses and multipliers that will be covered in more detail in the scoring section of this tutorial. Going back to the hand that was dealt earlier, I have flipped up each player's cards for you to see. In an actual game, you will keep your cards hidden from the other players. Each player will have a chance to become the taker for the round or can pass on bidding. During the round, the taker will play alone against the other 3 players. There are 4 possible bids. From lowest to highest bid is a small, a guard without, and a guard against. Depending on the bid, the taker's score will be multiplied by a factor during the scoring phase. The bid winner will get to use the 6 cards in the middle with a small or guard bid. With a guard without bid, the taker doesn't get to see the middle cards but gets the points from the middle cards at the end of the round. With a guard against bid, the middle cards are not seen and the points from the middle cards are given to the 3 opponents at the end of the round. The player right of the dealer is first to bid. Player 2 passes on bidding. The bid moves right to player 3. Player 3 bids guard. The bid moves to player 4 who passes. The bid moves to player 1 who passes. Player 3 wins the bid with guard. The 6 cards in the middle are flipped up for every player to see. Player 3 then takes the 6 cards into their hand and will choose 6 cards to set aside. The set aside cards will count towards player 3's card points at the end of the round. The player right of the dealer will lead the first trick. Player 2 leads the 5 of diamonds. Play moves counterclockwise to player 3. A player must play a card in the same suit as the card that was led whenever possible. Player 3 doesn't have a diamond to follow suit. When a player cannot follow suit, the player must play a trump card. There is one exception. The Fool card can be played at any time instead of following suit or playing trump. Player 3 plays the Fool. Player 4 and player 1 follow suit with diamonds, and player 1 wins the trick with the highest ranking card in the lead suit. There is another exception with the Fool card. The player of the card gets to keep it even though it does not win the trick. Rules around the Fool card will be explained in further detail later in this tutorial. The player that wins the trick will lead the next trick. Player 1 leads the King of Hearts. Player 2 and 3 follow suit by playing heart-suited cards. Player 4 doesn't have a heart-suited card and has to play a trump-suited card. Player 4 wins the trick as trump-suited cards outrank all other suited cards. Player 4 leads the next trick and play continues until all cards have been played. At the end of a round, the taker will add up the card points won during the round. 4.5 points for honor cards and kings, 3.5 points for queens, 2.5 points for knights, 1.5 points for jacks, and 0.5 point for all other cards. Player 3 won 48 card points during the round. The amount of card points needed for a taker to be successful depends on the amount of honor cards won by the taker. A taker with no honor cards needs 56 card points to be successful. 1 honor card needs 51 card points. 2 honor cards needs 41 card points. All 3 honor cards needs 36 card points. Player 3 has 2 honor cards with the 1 of trump and the Fool and needed 41 card points. Player 3 got 48 card points, so Player 3 was successful as the taker. There are 3 possible bonuses a taker can get for additional points. If the last trick of the round was won by the taker with the 1 trump, it is a 10-point bonus known as petite. If the taker has 10 or more trump cards in hand to start the round, a handful can be declared. 20 points are awarded for 10 trumps, 30 points for 13 trumps, or 40 points for 15 trumps. The trump cards are shown to all opponents when declaring a handful. If the taker is able to win all the tricks, it is known as a slam. If the taker declares slam before the first trick is played, the bonus is 400 points. If the taker wins all the tricks without declaring a slam, the bonus is 200 points. A score is calculated using this formula. A score always starts with a base amount of 25, then the amount of card points away from the target card point value. The petite bonus is added if achieved. The amount is multiplied based on the bid made. Finally, any hand bonus and or slam bonus is added. For the example round, Player 3 will start with the base amount of 25. 7 is added as Player 3's target card amount was 41 with 2 honor cards, and Player 3 got 7 over 41 with 48 card points. Player 3 did not get a petite bonus. The bid was guard for Player 3, which is a multiplier of 2. Player 3 did not get a handful bonus or a slam bonus. The formula results in 64 points. The amount is lost by all opponents when a taker is successful. The opponent players all lose 64 points, and Player 3 wins 64 points from each opponent for a total of 192 points. All the scores added together will always equal 0. The winner of the game is the player with the most points after playing an agreed upon amount of hands, such as 15. A quick guide for French Tarot is available through the link in this video's description. Use it to help you learn as you play. A player must follow the lead suit by playing a card in the same suit that was led whenever possible. If a player cannot follow the lead suit, the player must play a trump card. If a trump card has been played already, the player must play a higher trump suited card if possible. If a player cannot follow suit or play a trump card, any card can be played. The Fool card can be played on any trick at any time, even if the player can follow suit. The Fool is kept by the player of the card no matter which player wins the trick. By taking the Fool out of the trick is 1 card short and must be replaced. The player that retained the Fool card must replace it with a half-point card from their score pile. There is an exception with the Fool if it is played to the last trick. The Fool will win the trick if the player has won all other tricks during the round. If not, the Fool transfers to the opposing team regardless of who wins the trick. The Fool can be considered a trump card when declaring a handful. If the Fool is led, the next player can play any suited card. The suit of this card becomes the lead suit. If all players pass on bidding, the cards are collected and redealt. When setting aside cards, the taker cannot set aside kings. If a player announces a slam but does not win all the tricks, the player loses 200 points. If a taker is unsuccessful in making the card points needed, the score is calculated and paid by the taker to each opponent. For example, if the taker needed 41 card points but only got 38 card points, it would be scored as follows: 25 base points, plus 3 points for being 3 card points away from the target card points, no petite bonus, a 2 multiplier for a guard bid, and no other bonuses. The total is 56 points, going to each opponent, and a loss of 168 points by the taker. That wraps up how to play French Tarot. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and get more game tutorials by subscribing to our channel, Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching.